Thank you for the introduction, James. As James mentioned, I'm Anna, a 2024 Rabobank-sponsored Nuffield Scholar. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Although I recently found out there is no record of him actually saying or writing these words. Nonetheless, I believe this quote, whomever it came from, relates to family farming businesses, as we constantly need to grow, evolve, adapt, stay relevant to remain successful. I work alongside my father Jack, managing our family farm Kelvedon, 10 kilometres south of Swansea on the east coast of Tasmania. We run 8,500 superfine Merinos with an average micron of 15.5 with an average fleece weight of 4.5 kilograms. The majority of our wool is sold through the auction system, with a small portion being sold direct at a premium above the market, and the bulk of the wool ends up in Italy. The other component of our business is a vineyard, of which the first hectare was planted in 1998, and that was off the back of numerous droughts. Over the years, we have expanded and now have 9 hectares under production. 2/3 of our production is sold as fruit to hand-picked wines for their Arras sparkling label, and the remainder is produced for our own label. What is next for family businesses like mine? With the global consumption of alcohol dropping by 3% per annum, and I only see that increasing as the younger generation become more health conscious. And the wool market, well, it's not, need I say any more? So I wanted to explore what other opportunities were out there, and that led me to Nuffield. In my opinion, farmers are the masters of adaptability. And in this picture, which was on a wall in Cheshire, England, sums it up perfectly. In particular, point 6, accept that change is inevitable. On this slide, I have highlighted some of the policies that have the potential to have a severe impact on family businesses. Regardless of your view on the listed policies, they have sparked conversations and enabled farmers to make positive changes in their businesses. It became apparent throughout my travels that farmers were preempting change and adapting before policies were enforced. This has enabled farmers to have effective leadership and negotiation to get the best outcomes for everyone. And a really good example of this is the PEF, which is the Product Environmental Footprint. And that's our industry bodies have been collaborating to change the methodology of how natural fibres are rated. As it currently stands, natural fibres rate poorly against synthetics. A comment from New Zealand Nuffield scholar Ed Pinkney that has stuck with me is, we need to remove the emotion from farming. When emotion is removed, new opportunities arise, and throughout my travels I saw some great examples of diversifications from small tweaks to large-scale diversification within businesses. One of the most inspiring examples of this was a GFP visit to 2019 Nuffield scholar Ed Barnston. He had developed Monument Meadow, which was a natural burial ground, and with Australia's ageing population and the popularity of regional retirement villages, of which we have plans to build one on the northern boundary of my family farm, I see a real potential for Monument Meadow working in Australia. Another great example of diversification was a visit in northern Scotland to Robert Mackenzie. Robert had plans to build a golf course on the area photographed in this picture. However, it was knocked back due to the land being zoned industrial. Instead, we went back to the drawing board and decided, well, if I can't build a golf course, I'll build a port. It just so happens that this waterway is the deepest in the northwest of Europe, and the port will service the cable for offshore wind farms. Where am I? Projects like this will only grow in importance as we transition to net zero, and it will also allow farmers to diversify their incomes. Environmental stewardship is also where the future lies for farming, and I met a great family on the Pevensey levels in the UK. They had recognised the ecological value of their land and were going to great lengths to restore it. They were working with nature rather than against it, and their business and land was stronger as a result. Their environmental stewardship has helped strengthen the relationship with the local community, and they have plans to construct walking paths around the wetlands, of which migratory birds come and go, for the public to enjoy. Education is also a big part of the future, and a great example of this is Open Farm Sunday, which is an initiative which began in the UK in 2006, and over 2,000 farmers have opened their gates over the years to the public and have welcomed over 3.25 billion people. While this is made easier, what was that? While this has been made easier to the UK's population density, I see again a real potential for programs like this to be adopted in Australia, as it'll aid in connecting farmers to the wider public. And it's great to see Jane, from her presentation earlier today, doing this on her own farm. And in summary, or more so recommendations, I see the need to increase funding to support agricultural education and farm-based learning, to encourage collaboration and open communication between farmers, policymakers and the public, to support diversification efforts, including agritourism, value-added products and renewable energies, to develop equitable policies that support working farms and succession planning, and also to foster the connection between urban and rural communities through on-farm experiences and storytelling. Lastly, thank you to Nuffield Australia and my sponsor Rabobank Australia for awarding me a 2024 Nuffield Scholarship. I have grown so much as a result of my scholarship journey, and for that I will always be grateful. Lastly, I would like to thank my family for their unwavering support in allowing me to step back from the business and to allow me to make the most of my Nuffield experience. And to end, I'd like to end with the wise words of Chief Seattle: "We do not inherit earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children." Thank you.